Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to familiarize ourselves with the screens in Profit Shipping. In our last video, we learned how to log in. It brought us here to our home screen. We reviewed the similarities to Kirky. Let's go over some of those further. So we've also included the transaction codes from Kirky. We've carried those over here into Profit. So you can see those here in the center of my screen. My mouse is hovering. We have T's for truck arrivals. We want to go in and print a load sheet and say that a truck has arrived. It's ready to load. We have an S for shipping when we're ready to ship an order out. When our fruit's gotten onto our truck and we're ready to ship that out, and we need to get our bill of ladings and our manifest, we go to an S in our transaction code field. We no longer use void and restore as we did in Kirky. We now use unship, the U in our transaction code. We'll cover some information on cross-docks or consolidations or X-docks or cross-docks in Profit. We'll also go over if you just want to go into an order and take a look at it in a queue. That'd be going up into your transaction code and typing a queue. We could actually type a queue and go in under an order number. Say we had a driver show up and they gave us an order number of 78196. Type that into our order number field. We can go in this field under any transaction code and a buyer's PO or an order number, and then hitting enter on our keyboard. So all I did there was type a Q in our transaction code field, type our order number in, and I hit enter. That'll actually take us into our order. Once I'm in an order, I can look to the bottom of my screen for my menu. And this is going to be similar to Kirky. I'm going to have kind of three screens, F6, F7, and F8. F6 is the screen we're looking at now. You can see that in the tabs up here in the top center of my screen. F6 here. I can get there by touching the F12 Function Key. My driver's information. It's also some information on my order, such as the buyer's PO and the name of the customer. If I have any instructions, it'll be located here in the center of my screen. My driver's information will go down here in these yellow fields. I can type and enter through these fields. Once I've filled out that driver's information, I can go to F7 just by touching F7 on my keyboard. F7 is my fruit information. It's where I'll enter my pallet quantities here in the center of my screen. If I have FIDO charges or instrument numbers, or if we use a house number, I can also enter that here. Again, this is just going to be a high-level review. So we'll go over to F8 now. F8 is going to be information on our action steps. So this is going to be where we print bill of ladings down here in the bottom of my screen, the bottom center of my screen here. It's F14 for load sheets, F15 for our bill of ladings. When we go over unshipping, we'll use this unshipping button. So a lot of our buttons are going to be down here at the bottom of our screen. And those buttons are going to be those function keys, those F1, F2 through F12, and then shift and F1 for F13, shift F2 for F14, so on and so forth. If I want to leave an order and I want to save the information I've done, I can look to the bottom of my screen and I can see save and exit as an F3. If I make a mistake, I can push F1 to clear and exit without saving. I can also use the F12 feature. You can see this at the bottom of my menu to access my orders in another way. If I go in under F12, I can select in work, this button here in the upper left-hand side of my screen. I can select that button and it'll bring up all my orders. I can type my order number that I want to locate, 78196. Select my transaction code here. We're going to use a Q. Select my order. I'm just going over to that and clicking that with my mouse. It'll actually bring up my fruit lines here. In the middle of my screen, you can see this section that actually pulls up my fruit lines for me, and then if an instruction is there, that'll be here. Down here in this field, you can see my mouse hovering over this section here in the bottom center of my screen. I've been able to bring out the pallet type onto the screen for you, so you'll be able to see your check pallet type, your order quantity, and your instructions without having to dive into an order. I thought that might help us facilitate some of our speed. If you needed to print a load sheet and you didn't want to set a truck arrival, you can use this button here, Print Load Sheet. If you mark this box, Print to Screen, that switches it to printing to Adobe on screen. So if you select an order and you hit Print Load Sheet, you'll actually be able to print load sheets on that order. Nice clean load sheets. Instructions on an order will show up here in this notes field in the center of my screen. You can see my mouse hovering over this here in the center of the screen. You'll have order numbers and times that things were printed. Pallet types here again on these load sheets. You'll have customer information and shipping points in this example, Porterville Citrus Terabella. And you can notice even when I hit my refresh, my F5 down here at the bottom of my screen, my in work, this hitting an F5 with our keyboard does the same thing as hitting in work button here. Awesome. So now we're going to go in using that cue, selecting an order, and using our F2 at the bottom of the screen to go into that order. Same setup here, F6, driver's information, F7, route information, F8, it's our action steps. If I want to save an order, I can hit an F3 to save and exit an order. Hit F3 there on my keyboard. And that'll take me right back out to my home screen. If I want to take my filter out and work with a different order, I can highlight that here in the upper center of my screen. Just hit a backspace and bring all my orders back up for the day. Awesome. So that's just a little high-level review on some of the screens that we have in Profit. In our next few videos, we'll actually go through and set a truck arrival. We'll ship out some orders. We'll unship some orders. We'll put multiple orders on a truck using our Truck Builder feature. We will show you how to review what you have shipped and be able to go in and unship things when they come back overweight. So we're excited to go through our next set of videos. Thank you for your time and attention.